good support in terms of selling their work, and also seeing number of art lovers who seek to have someone is art piece but can't afford it. So to me, printmaking became the main key. If an artist will be able to equip with a technique or one of technique of printmaking, will be able to do additions, and also even the minimum amount, it can subside the minimum to sell his work. If we have additions of 10 works in the same plate, means it can minimize the price. So it's the aim of this project. So 2020 we did only in Dar. So now the question for 2022 was, is art only in Dar es Salaam or is all over Tanzania? So me being an artist, I've been influenced with a lot of artists who have been painting in Kigoma, which is the west of Tanzania. And being growing up there in Dar es Salaam on both sides, I decided to take this project also to Kigoma and Dodoma. And the question during my presentation, I asked people, how many artists do you know of Kigoma? And none of them told me any. But me being an artist, I've been influenced also with the people who are painting in Kigoma. So now taking the project that side is also giving back and also showing the community in Dar es Salaam. We have other artists who are there. So any organization that is here also have to think wide open that they can go somewhere else in the country and also still support and promote what is there. We have a rich culture for more than 120 tribals. So that's why I'm doing this project. Thank you so much.
Hi everyone. Hi. Okay, my name is Sud Kandoro, also known as Manager Kandoro. I'm a CEO, owner of UBT. UBT Research on Talent is an institution dealing with just artists, every artist, but now we're dealing with most of the performing artists. Basically in UBT, we have programs like we used to empower young women. We have a group of artists called Wamoto. Also we have another group of artists, it's just youth, also used to support youth. And also we own studio, and our studio is not a commercial studio, it's just like a community studio. We know artists, they suffer in terms of how they can record, how they can get access. So we have a community studio, NAFASI there. So for any artist who got a talent, we have very simple conditions. So if he or she can fulfill, we just record him or her for free or just a little amount of money. Our aim is to make that artist to attain or to reach their goal and become the star. And also, in this perspective, actually we have a project. Our project is called Sauti za Kumoyo. Sauti za Kumoyo. Sauti za Kumoyo basically is like we talk about inner voice. You can find it like our roots. Nowadays you see most of the artists, they think from outside. But us as a UBT, now we want the artist to think from inside us to outside. But what does it mean? Basically me, I'm a manager, artist manager. I used to manage almost 8 artists of Singeli for over 10 years now. Let's take as an example for Singeli. Singeli is like a model traditional music. But nowadays, Singeli artists, they start fusing up, actually not fusing, they start thinking that maybe they use their music by adapting like other music from outside, like say piano or Afrobeat or Caribbean beat, whatever. But based on that, we say, okay, maybe over time, maybe Singeli is going to lose a true picture. The origin of Singeli maybe will disappear. So we come with the idea, okay, now let's think, why don't we go back to our roots? Instead of Manifongo thinking maybe can fuse with Amapiano, why don't him go to a go-go and fuse his music with a go-go guy, like a traditional artist? So that's our thinking. So we say, okay, these modern musicians, they are good, but in order to have our original picture and to make our music to be original, we have a collaboration. Actually, Sauti za Moyo is a collaboration between a modern artist and traditional artist. So our project is going to base on 4 regions. We are going to Dodoma and Mtwara, Dar Es Salaam and Pwani. So in Dodoma, I know we are going to have we select a traditional artist. So maybe let's say Manfongo or Sholwamba is going to collaborate with traditional music artists from Dodoma, or Kinata is going to sing with traditional music from Mtwara. Our aim is also, why we're doing that is because also traditional artists, they have a very limited opportunity when it comes to visibility. Now we discuss about visibility, and also even the access. I think you guys are your witness. How many times traditional music they perform as modern music? Let's say per week. So most of the traditional musicians or artists, they do their music as a part-time job, not a full-time job. So now we want to make them to feel that art, you can do art as a full-time job. And also most of traditional artists, they don't own their music, their art. And you can see now that the technology is growing, and now artists, they put their music in a very big platform. But most of traditional music, they don't put their music in a digital platform. So we believe through this project, those traditional artists are going to learn practically through this modern musician how they are going to compose their music, how they are going to promote their music, how they are going to do their music throughout instead of do it seasonal, and also how they are going to enjoy the platforms, different platforms like events, concert, whatever. So Sauti za Moyo basically is the project which is going to help traditional music as well help this modern music to go back to their roots and think that now they need to use the original music and take it to the world. So that is all about Sauti za Moyo. Thanks so much. I'm going to talk about the artists from Dodoma. So if there's anyone from Dodoma, Mtwara, Dar es Salaam and Pwani. So maybe we're going to discuss.
Thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Randall Stubbs. I'm the manager of the Cultural Arts Center underneath Tumaini University Makumiro, which is a private university in Arusha. And our mission for our center basically is creating a safe space for learning, creating, doing, and sharing the arts. And we do that primarily through engaging in activities related to traditional music and dance of Tanzania. We include theater and a little bit of visual arts. We hope to grow that more in the future. But that's a little bit of who we are and how we exist. We came into being in 2014. We were born out of the music department at Tumaini University Makumiro. So I have been in Tanzania for 16 years and was invited to help start the bachelor program in music at Tumaini University Makumiro. And this Cultural Arts Center development came out of conversations with students and colleagues about how can we make the arts more sustainable in northern Tanzania. And one of the big things that came out was we needed a space to be able to do that. We needed facilities, and so we were able to create those. And so I thought actually we'd have PowerPoint, so I had some really nice pictures to show you. If you want to see pictures of our center, just talk to me. I'll be happy to show them to you. So we do lots of different activities, but outreach and education are important parts of what we do. The university has formal programs in music. The Cultural Arts Center offers informal programs in music, which allows us to give access to people who don't have opportunities to get an official certificate, diploma, or degree in music because they don't have the right certificate or they didn't do well enough in school. And so through the Cultural Arts Center, we can provide opportunities, especially for youth, to experience the arts. Our project for the Feel Free grant is called NAWEZA, and it's dealing with bringing music and dance to special needs children or students. We have two specific objectives in the grant. One is to help young persons with disabilities experience the joy of music and dance. And the second is to help teachers and artists develop strategies to incorporate music and dance while working with these marginalized youth. I have a daughter with Down syndrome. She's 27 years old. Her life is 100% revolves around music and dance. That is what brings her joy. That's why she gets up every day. She has been able to attend rehearsals that we have with our professional dance group. She comes 3 days a week to rehearsals. It's her motivation in life. When she was younger, we discovered that music, we could motivate her to do anything with that. And we're grateful that she's quite high functioning. And she actually plays quite a few instruments at a pretty high level, but she just loves the music and dance part. My late wife and I had been doing some projects in the States related to music and special kids, and we haven't really done much of that here in Tanzania. So this was an opportunity to explore that a little bit more. So she will be one of our experts, but another person who her big sister, Megan and Dolly, has been kind of taken over where my late wife had been doing, and has offered a number of things dealing with special needs and music and movement. So the idea is that we will have, we have 4 places that are teaching children with special needs in the Arusha area that we'll be working with. Actually, next week we'll have our main workshop for our dancers, dancers to learn more about different kinds of special needs, because somebody who has Down syndrome can do different things than somebody who might have cerebral palsy or autism, and so our dancers need to be sensitized to how to work in this environment. At the same time, we've invited teachers from these institutions and other teacher training organizations to come and participate so that they can learn how music and movement can be incorporated into what they're doing as well. We have very enthusiastic response from the schools that are offering these special needs programs, and we're looking forward to what we can do together. The idea is we'll run an initial 8-week program at one of the schools, and then we'll assess how things are there, and then we'll run programs, similar programs at the other schools. At the very end, we'll do a day at the Cultural Arts Center where everybody can come together and share what they've been doing, and we can see some demonstrations from some of the students participating, and enjoy lunch together. And then we're planning to produce a booklet of kind of best practices here in a Tanzanian context that'll be in Swahili, that hopefully will allow us the program to be replicated in other places. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Randall. For those who don't understand Swahili, naweza roughly translate to I can in English. Thank you so much, other grantees. You people, aren't you excited for their projects? Yes. I can see a lot of questions in your faces. Okay, so let's move to the second question. And as we said before, the theme of today is visibility. And we would just like to know, in your own perspective, what comes to mind when you hear about visibility in the arts and culture scene? What kind of like pops to you, and what your thoughts would be around it? Who would like to start?
Ours is a little bit different. Maybe we're looking more at sort of, I'd say, internal visibility because of the sensitivity of working with children, working with children, and B, children with special needs. It'll be important for us to get permission from families to photograph or to distribute videos of them outside our local context. So for this specific project for us, we're looking more at how do we publicize it within our community, but not necessarily a huge outside experience unless we have permission from everybody to do it. If everybody agrees to it, then definitely we will do more through social media and other channels like that.
Maybe you can talk just a little bit about the publication that you're looking forward to do at the end, because I think a lot of us have said from the masterclass yesterday and the discussion today that the publication can be another way to like increase visibility. Can you talk a little bit about the publication?
Yeah, we have some ideas going into this about what we expected outcomes and everything, but running them in this new context, we know that we need to be open to lessons learned in this different kind of context and what's possible here in the Tanzanian context for children with special needs. Generally, I think most people here will understand that children with special needs don't get the same opportunities that other kids get here, and so we're just trying to find a way that we can help them to experience some of those things. And the publication is designed, again, both maybe to initiate some conversation from artists about how they might work with this special needs population, but also for teachers who don't have a big background in music and dance. How can they include music and dance, which is a huge motivator for many people to do it. Just one quick example in that is that on the area of language, there are a lot of people who have difficulty with spoken language for various reasons. It could be a mental problem, it could be an accident or other trauma, and they may not be able to speak well or at all. Our own daughter was not verbal until she was 6 years old, but their music centers are intact, and so they can oftentimes sing. Even somebody who stutters might be able to sing without any problem at all, with no stuttering at all, because it's a different part of the brain. And so there's some important connections that we hope to be able to share, and we've done this in other contexts in the United States, and for me, I want to see if those assumptions hold true also in this context. I think they will, but we need to verify that.
Okay, for me, I can say simply visibility for me is like to make people look and feel what we are really doing. So for basic on our project, so far we are going to have like we are going to document, you know, whatever we're doing when we're in the studio, people are recording, so we make sure that we capture every moment and make people who are not around to see exactly what is going on, what we're really doing. And also, you know, after this project, we are going to come up with EP of the 5 songs from each region. Each region is it's going to have one song, and there will be another song for all artists who are in the project. So we're going to come up with the EP. We are going to print a CD for that. And also we are going to take those songs to the big platforms, and after that we're going to do promotions to make those artists to even not their art, even them to people to see them. So we are going to have an interview, even a media tour. So those are things which we think if we can do, we are going to make our audience to understand and feel and look and to know exactly what we are doing.
For me, when you say visibility, came to another term like accessibility. How do you, after you see something, how do you access it? So that's why I asked in the previous essay how many people, even here where we are, knows how many artists in Kigoma, who based in Kigoma, he does his work in Kigoma. I hope no one will show their hands. But after this training or exchange that I'll be doing through the grant, for the people who follow my page or NAFASI's page for the information and what is going on, we'll be able to say, I know Sarikale in Kigoma has been an old artist for so many years. Now the impact and everything that he does. So that is what I'm looking, and and well, that is how I can translate visibility, accessibility. Also, even for young curators who are practicing curators, curatorial now, how I have got the borders, I don't have borders. But for you, you don't have to look at only Dar es Salaam. You can go to Mtwara, Ruvuma, Morogoro, whatever you may go, and bring it something new. And also, uniqueness matters a lot in the platform, and also the domain that you access. For example, in Dar es Salaam, you can't show Gadi Ramadan like 10 times. Some people won't come, become like, I saw it last night, why should I go today? Again, but if you bring something new, it's the visibility. Show the reach of the culture that we have, show the reach of the artists that we have out there. So my project is just to give the artists opportunity to survive through their work and not to be mediocre to their work. And also they have this, like, what can I say, like great part and also the artistic part for it. So for me, it's also visibility and accessibility of it is important. And also me being in Kigoma, I went to Kigoma for feasibility studies just to see what is going on, what is there. For more than 20 years, I've never been there. So I found out people doesn't even know what is going on in Dar es Salaam. So I was like, do you know NAFASI ARTSPACE? What? So it's also, that's why I'm saying it's accessibility. So when I will be there, I'll be sharing with them information. Sharing with them that there's something called artist residencies. How do you do it? How do you apply? You have to prepare your portfolio. So this is accessibility. So me being there is also visibility for them. If someone can do this into his contest, why can't we do so? So that is accessibility to things or information. Yeah. And I knew if people have accessibility to information of grant 2022 for free, many would apply. So luckily enough, they're opening in another way. So, thank you.
And you're the lucky one, you got it twice.
Thanks, yeah, that's really lucky, yeah.
So guys, if you got the grant, you're allowed to be selected minimum twice. Yeah. Because the grant goes on until 2026. So get ready. From Swazi Gonzalez.
Yes.
Sauti za Moyo.
Yes.
Can you really tell us how do you enhance the promotion of art and communicate its value to the wider public? How do you do it with the project?
As I said, after recording, we are going to have a special launch for the. I believe we say it's an event. So through event, you can reach more audience and people that can make many people that can attend. So we're going to have events, and also we're going to have interview, media tour. Those are things I believe if by doing that, we're going to enhance and promote our art to reach more people. So, and also after recording, we're going to take the song to the media, and so we're going to promote the songs. So, and so for that, I believe by doing those kind of promotion, by using different channels, as my colleagues say, about the social media. Also, we're going to use social medias. We know most of the people now, all the time they spend their time in social media. So, so we believe through the social media tour and those other kinds of events, we're going to promote our arts, our artists as well as the arts.
You mentioned about media houses.
Yes.
And you're doing something like traditional. Like, what kind of a media house would be ready to take this thing up? Because all the biggest media houses that we know, they just want to play something from the mainstream. So like, for you, how are you going about it?
a good thing that one of our media partners in our project is one of the leading media house here in Tanzania, EFM and TVE. So they are very interesting there, and they're in the project as well. So we believe, and the good thing is that they really love the project, and they promise us after the project maybe they can have even one program for weekend for just a traditional artist.
That sounds amazing. And I think the internationals in here they would also want to know what is Singeli. I think later on, I'm promising you all, we're going to play Singeli music, and he's going to show us how to dance later on, after the panel, right? So we have got someone who has joined us here. She comes from an organization who was part of the grantee program in 2020. So we'll welcome her. She'll introduce herself, where she's from, and what they do with the project while they got the grant in 2020.
Hey. My name is Naima Abeid. I'm from Soma Leadership for Learning and Development. Last year, Soma is an organization which promotes culture, artists. So our project was called One, which was mainly for visiting the traditional spaces which are women-based. As we know, one means the backyard. So the main point was to excavate knowledge and also to bring out the patriarchal myths that say that women are supposed to set the backyard. So when we want to say we want to set our tables, it does not mean that it's just a notion. It should mean that from the beginning, women had our places. We had places, those were called wani. So even if now we say that we want to have our own safe spaces, it should have like a background. That's not just something that just came up. From traditional, we had our places. So that was the Wani project all about.
Just to add up, Aika and I were part of the project. We were curators of the project. Maybe Aika can just add up what she did on her part.
Thank you so much. So as we said before, part of the delegation is the curatorial member, and the way the program runs is that the curatorial fellows have a chance to also learn from the grantees, because a very important part of being a curator is also seeing what others are doing, learning their methods, and also like learning from each other. So me and Rhoda, together with another classmate who was called Tura, we got a chance to be part of the Wani project, and as Nema said, it tried to explore women-based spaces. So for this project, we went to Tandale, that is part of like the suburb of Dar, and we got to interact with these women who they still hold this practice dear, like the practice of like the way they have these communities. So for example, women were trained differently, like the way they're supposed to be trained, like for marriage, practice around food, practice about around child rearing, and it was a space where a safe space for women, and men are not allowed. As saying, it's like a backyard where it's like a physical space, but it can also embody other spaces where women use them for the own agency of women, like the kitchen party, the bridal showers, like the places where just women come together as women and like discuss their own things, like figure out what they're going to do on their own. And at the end, we research on different things. So for example, Rhoda was looking at the food practices that are in Wani, in the backyard, how women share recipes, how the act of cooking is community building. Given my background as a pharmacist, I was like trying to explore how do they teach each other about like sexual and reproductive health, because this was also a place where young girls who just got into puberty, they would maybe have a chance to ask questions from their great-grandmothers or their aunts. So we looked about all those different things, the culture, the way they would dress. So like that was kind of like a summary of what Uwani was, and it was a great project.
Yeah, so for the Curatorial Academy, like the grantees are here, so you have your chance when time comes, you get to work with them maybe. So let us move on with the panel discussion. A question from you, Aika? You want to shoot?
So we've heard different people say about channels. Masood is like, we're going to use all these media places to share our work. We ran talking about a publication. I want to direct this question specifically to you, Gadi. Why am I directing it to you? Because you're an artist, but you're also a curator. And with your background, you've like worked with different people, and you've used different channels to like make the message reach to the audience. So I would like for you maybe to share like the not so common maybe channels, other channels, because we kept on saying that for visibility as artists, we can be creative, we can innovate with the way that we reach our community, and I know that is your area of expertise. Can you share maybe something on that?
It's not an easy question. Let me start with advice. It's not every channel or every media is yours, so you have to be selective. It's not every presenter or journalist has to interview you. You have to be selective. So as long as you know where you want to reach, you have to choose the road. If you are here, you can use the old Bagamoyo Road or New Bagamoyo Road to get to Kariakoo. So be selective. And also accessibility to people. It's not everyone has to have accessibility to you, because the other access that you get, it will never take you where you want to, and also lose the glitter of what you want. That is what most I can share. When, for example, when I curate my work, I don't start by telling people what I'm curating. First I do my own research and see, even through the media, which media I should get involved with, which platform. Where should I exhibit my work, and who I should and why. I have my own reason, although when I propose the person who on the venue or a space or a studio or whatever, I don't tell them why I'm choosing the space, because the main part is to reach where the success of that project, or how easy that project can also engage the community that you want to bring them in, either an artist or a dialogue that you want to raise, or also safety of the project, because sometimes we don't curate sweets, sometimes we curate bitters. So depending who want to hear and who doesn't want to hear. So visibility of that also has to be planned. For example, if I want to talk about sexuality in Tanzania, there's norms and codes of how I have to deal with Tanzanian culture. Because even someone, an cultural officer can come and say, that is not our culture, but if you ask them what is our culture, it can become another very big topic, where which is the country that have 120 people, 120 tribals. You have to define a culture as a community or as Tanzanians. So it means it depend with the context and where you are. So I choose very careful accessibility and visibility of media. Also, catalog had become part of the main platform for me, because after 30 days or 20 days or 3 days of exhibition, what remained behind is catalog.